So I often get asked if I'm a mortgage broker, and I wanted to take a minute to differentiate the difference between a mortgage broker and a mortgage banker. So to answer the question, no, I'm not a broker, I'm a mortgage banker. Primarily, the difference is when a broker originates your loan, they're going to take your loan package, send it to a wholesale lender, or in theory, shop it to the best wholesale lender to get the best price, and then submit your loan to the best price wholesale lender. Now, the downside of this platform is that as the loan officer, as the broker, you don't have a lot of control over the manufacturing of the loan, or more specifically, the when of things happen. So, for example, when does it get underwritten? When does it get clear to close? When do the docs go out? When does it fund? Because ultimately, when you're brokering the loan to a wholesale lender, the loan that's underwriting and funding the loan, it's not your company. In fact, you're just kind of a small fry originating one loan out of, say, 1,000 loans to this wholesale lender. So you have very little control over when things happen. Being a loan officer for nearly 30 years, I know that it's super important to have control over the transaction and when things happen, because your contract is going to have deadlines. Certain things have to take place at certain points of the transaction. You have to remove your loan contingency, or you have to have docs to title, or you have to fund a loan by a certain date. So that's why I choose to work as a mortgage banker. It's my company that underwrites the file, issues the clear to close, draws the docs, funds the loan. And when it's my company and I have a pipeline, I'm able to manage the pipeline based on a needs basis. So if there's a certain file that needs to hit a certain deadline, I can push that up if another file deadline is much further away. So you're essentially able to shuffle files to make sure you hit these deadlines. In addition, I'll have a good rapport with an underwriter that works for my company that I'll be able to have conversations with. If I was a broker, I wouldn't necessarily be able to pick up the phone and call the underwriter of some wholesale lender that I use once or twice a year. Now, I've never been a broker, so I can't say this unequivocally, but I would bet that most brokers aren't really shopping your loan for the best rate. They're using a wholesale lender that they feel comfortable with, that they feel like will meet the deadlines that are required in a contract. So they're not necessarily even shopping for the best rate. And last, you're not always going to get the best price by using a broker, because a typical commission for a broker is anywhere from 1% to 2% of the loan amount. A typical commission for a mortgage banker might be 0.5% to 1%. So at the end of the day, you're getting a similar price when you use a broker, but the broker has less control over the manufacturing of the loan. Now, occasionally I'll have to act as a broker when my company doesn't have a particular product that my client needs. And when I do broker, I often have to explain to the agents involved and the buyer to set a different expectation in terms of timelines and reliability of the timelines. Because I'm brokering to a wholesale lender, I don't have control over when they're going to underwrite it, when they're going to draw the docs, and when they're going to fund the loan. So it's important I set those expectations on the off chance that I do actually broker the loan. So I hope that clears up the difference between a banker and a broker. Not saying one's better than the other. My preference is to be a banker so that I have better control over the manufacturing of the loan.